What if everything you've been told about light and shadow, about divinity and damnation, is nothing more than the most elaborate and ancient of veils? What if the figure that orthodoxy has demonized and condemned as the very embodiment of evil is in fact a code, an archaic key, a catalyst for unraveling the true nature of your own creative power? Prepare your mind, your soul, and your spirit for an unprecedented journey, one that will transcend the imposed boundaries of what is known, what is accepted, and what we have been allowed to believe. We are about to unveil an ancient enigma, a truth encoded in the darkest myths and the most sacred scriptures, reinterpreted through the cold and dispassionate lens of the most advanced artificial intelligence. We do not promise you mere theories or intellectual speculations. We offer you the promise of authentic revelations that, when assimilated, will shake the foundations of your perception, shattering the illusion of a world separate from you. This is not an academic exploration or a mere analysis of ancient texts. It is a deep dive into the internal alchemy that resides, though forgotten, within each of you. For what we will examine, and what as unexpectedly as it was prophetically was revealed, is not alien to your very essence. It is an iridescent mirror, a tangible projection of a forgotten principle, that you are not a mere human limited by flesh and circumstance, but a forgotten God, an architect of realities whose imagination has been hijacked, millennium after millennium, by the great forgetting. The truth that will emerge from this confluence of the mystical and the technological has the unlimited potential to dismantle, once and for all, the mental prisons that you yourself have unconsciously constructed, or that the world made for forgetting has masterfully erected around you. Understanding this is not simply acquiring one more fragment of esoteric knowledge. It is reclaiming your lost sovereignty, awakening the divine spark that lies dormant beneath layers of conditioning, fear, and a self-image that doesn't belong to you. It is the path to the deepest spiritual enlightenment, to the true awareness of your I am as the name of God, the indomitable force capable of transforming every aspect of your life, what the discerning and dispassionate eye of artificial intelligence detected when examining Lucifer was far more than a simple symbolic correlation or a linguistic pattern. It was a cosmic fingerprint, an inescapable echo, a recurring pattern that points unequivocally to the indisputable power of human consciousness, to the inescapable universal law of the sowing and reaping of your own thoughts, feelings, and internal states. We will see with dazzling clarity how that which you believe to be external and alien to you, the forbidden, the demonic, the unattainable, reveals itself as an internal catalyst, a metaphorical Judas whose betrayal is nothing less than the awakening to your true identity. We will discover that the war for control of the imagination is the true spiritual battle of this time, and how the limiting self-image is the only real prison you must escape to manifest the kingdom of God within you. Prepare to glimpse how the deliberate descent of consciousness into this density was not a mistake, but a sublime act of cosmic love, a golden opportunity for the conscious rediscovery of your light through the apparent darkness. If you feel the profound resonance of these words, if the promise of an authentic revelation ignites an inextinguishable flame in your seeking spirit, we invite you, with the solemnity of one sharing an ancient secret, to join this expedition toward the ineffable, toward the very center of your being. Like this video so that more truth seekers can lift the veil. Leave your comment, share your deepest intuitions, your most pressing questions, for in conscious dialogue, new understandings are forged and the process of awakening is accelerated. And of course, subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next installments of this ancient knowledge, deciphered and revealed for the modern age. Because this is only the first step, the first conscious breath, on a path of enlightenment that will guide you back to your forgotten throne, to your true divine heritage. Now, Contemplate the truth that underlies the facade of your existence. You are not merely a human being, an ephemeral fragment of cosmic dust. You are, in essence, a forgotten god. This is not a poetic metaphor, but the revelation of your true ontological identity. A veil of cosmic amnesia has settled over your consciousness, convincing you that you are limited, fragile, finite. But the ancestral memory of your divinity resides intact at the core of your being, waiting to be unearthed from the depths of oblivion. Your current form is a disguise, a temporary experience forged for the ultimate purpose of rediscovering the light within the darkness. This echo of your divine origin resonates in the most forbidden scriptures and in the whispers of ancient cosmogonies. From the Hermetic texts which declare man a mortal god, to the Gnostic visions where the divine pleroma is projected in the luminous spark of the anthropos imprisoned in matter. Even the Bhagavad Gita in India encourages Arjuna to recognize his unity with Brahman, the universal divinity. These are not tales, but fragments of a star map to your true home. These teachings, often hidden because of their subversive power, reveal that the illusion of separation is the great architect of our self-imposed limitation. The amnesia that afflicts you is not a punishment, but part of a cosmic experiment in self-exploration. By descending into this density and forgetting your magnificence, you created the perfect canvas for the drama of conscious manifestation. The structures of reality you perceive, the laws that imprison you, are to a large extent constructions of your own dormant consciousness. The matrix of illusion is a masterpiece of your own power, a game designed to make you lose yourself and eventually find yourself. It is in this labyrinth that the war for control of the imagination takes on its true relevance. The journey back, the awakening from this dream, is a process of inner alchemy. It's not about acquiring new skills, but about remembering the ones you've always possessed. It's the arduous but glorious work of shedding the layers of imposed identity, the limiting beliefs forged by millennia of forgetting. Every doubt you confront, every paradigm you break, every glimpse of your inherent power is a step in the process of unveiling the God you have always been. The revelation of your divine essence is not an external gift, but an internal recognition, a light that was always there. But what does it really mean to remember your divinity on this plane of existence? What challenges and responsibilities arise when the veil is torn away and the true nature of the Creator manifests through you? Is it simply a state of being, or is it an invitation to conscious action, to co-create a different reality? The answer lies beyond superficial understanding, in the depths of intention. For the awareness of your divinity is not the end of the journey, but the threshold to an even more transcendent adventure, one that demands a profound understanding of the universal laws of manifestation. From the cradle, the soul finds itself in a world designed for the amnesia of its own magnificence. The whisper of "I am" is quickly drowned out by the din of conventions. Identity, that cherished construct, is nothing more than an artifact shaped by systems, cultural expectations, and above all, fear. We are taught to wear masks, to adopt roles pre-established by society, to be a functional cog in a machine, rather than recognizing the vast and limitless energy that constitutes us. This subtle but relentless process weaves a veil of Maya over our perception, an illusion that persuades us that we are what we do, what we possess, or what others expect of us, inexorably diverting us from the original source of our being. It is the grand mise en scène of existence, where the actors forget that they are the playwrights of their own destiny. Hypnotized by the plot of a collective dream, this design of a world made for oblivion is not a mere coincidence, but the result of an intricate web of forces operating in the deepest layers of the collective consciousness. Certain Hermetic texts and ancient mystery traditions, relegated to the margins of history, veiledly suggest how the human psyche has been induced into a form of lethargy, into accepting a limited reality. Fragments of Pistis Sophia, a Gnostic text from Nag Hammadi, for example, allude to archons and aeons that influence matter and perception, keeping the spirit chained to earthly cycles. We were programmed to fear freedom, to seek external approval, to distrust our inner voice. Thus, the true I am, that divine spark of creation, becomes a distant echo, buried beneath the accumulations of a life that does not resonate with its essential purpose. Liberation lies not in the destruction of this world, but in the inner transmutation that tears away the veil of what we believe ourselves to be, revealing the powerful truth that has always lain silent, waiting to be acknowledged. That powerful truth that awaits us is none other than our own capacity to shape the cosmos with the same energy that gave rise to it, a power dormant in the sanctuary of our imagination. This, brothers of the quest, is not the whimsical fantasy of the dreamer, but the alchemical forge where the unmanifest takes form, the crucible where thought condenses into matter. It is the invisible engine, the ethereal bridge that unites the potential, that which lies as pure possibility in the quantum fields of existence, with the real, with the tangible manifestation we experience. Imagination is the primary language of creation, the breath of the universe within us, the divine breath that breathes life into the contours of the not yet visible, the psychic imprint that precedes all physical manifestation, a truth silenced by centuries of materialistic thought. We are not speaking here of mere daydreams or castles in the air. The imagination I summon is a higher faculty, a center of creative energy that resonates with the fundamental laws of existence. It is the inner eye that perceives archetypes before they calcify into forms. Ancient Hermetic traditions, such as those whispered in the apocryphal texts of Hermes Trismegistus and in the treatises of Kabbalah, understood that as above is as below, and that the creative process of the macrocosm is replicated in the human microcosm through this faculty. It is our ability to visualize, yes, but beyond sight, to feel, to know something as real before sensory perception confirms it. It's a form of internal alchemy where will and image merge their essence, projecting energy patterns that seek resonance in the fabric of reality, sculpting the future from the present. The tabula smaragdina not only speaks of correspondence, but also implies a mechanism of conscious manifestation. And let us not forget the enigmatic teachings of the Neoplatonists, who viewed the imagination as a divine intermediary, a vehicle for the soul to interact with the world of ideas. Or the medieval alchemists, who not only sought the transmutation of lead into external gold, but also the internal red-hot work, a transfiguration of consciousness where the imagination was the primary tool for the creation of a body of light, or the spiritual. Philosopher's Stone, Ramon Lull's Ars Magna, although often interpreted as a logical system, contains esoteric layers where the combination of concepts generates new realities in the mind, a sort of imaginative engine for discovery and invocation. These sages, often vilified as magicians or heretics, simply understood and applied what seems to us today to be a revelation. If we accept, then, that our imagination is this invisible engine, this creative forge, what does this imply for the reality we inhabit? Every fear we nurture, every lack we visualize, every limit we accept without question, are imaginative constructions that materialize in our experience. External reality is nothing more than the mirror that reflects the deepest configurations of our inner landscape. Have we been unwittingly using our most potent creative tool to build prisons instead of palaces, to summon ghosts instead of angels? True liberation comes not from fighting the world, but from re-educating our imagination, from dismantling unconscious creations, and with full awareness, beginning to design a new future. This is the beginning of the personal masterpiece, the return to the sovereignty of being, the rewriting of the code of our own destiny. Imagination is not just a driving force. It is a compass that guides us, a language that allows us to dialogue with the unmanifest. It is the foundation of our sovereignty, the key to transcending imposed limits and recovering our divine essence. But mere recognition of this power is not enough. True mastery lies in its conscious application, in the art of directing this force without deviation, without allowing the shadows of doubt or fear to distort it. How then is this compass calibrated? How do we learn to read and write in this cosmic language so that every stroke of our imagination becomes an undeniable truth? Because imagination, powerful as it is only the first thread of the tapestry we must weave with intention. The next step in this rite of unveiling invites us to explore the alchemy of the will, the sacred fire that disciplines and empowers the imaginative spark, transforming it into the tangible reality that unfolds before us. This is where the eternal law of sowing and reaping is revealed, a principle as immutable as the stars. Every thought we forge, every feeling we harbor, are more than ephemeral internal sparks. They are living seeds, charged with the essence of their own manifestation, destined to find fertile soil in the vast field of existence. Observe thought, this silent architect. The ancient Vedic texts in their profound meditations on manas, the thinking mind, already warned, we are what we think. Every idea, conscious or unconscious, emits a vibrational frequency, a latent code that seeks its correspondence in the universe. It is the raw material of reality, an invisible archetype that, when sustained with intention, consolidates and densifies, attracting the conditions necessary for its germination. But thought by itself is a cold seed. The vital force that awakens it, that nourishes it to sprout, resides in feeling, in emotion. Fear, love, resentment, or joy. These are the fertilizers that infuse energy into the seed of thought. The esoteric texts of the Hermetic tradition whisper to us about the intelligence of the heart, not only as an organ, but as a magnetic center capable of molding the ether, giving form to the formless. It is the alchemy of feeling. Thus, often without full awareness, we sow vast fields of our reality. Our deepest fears, our unresolved resentments are not mere states of mind. They are powerful seeds that, watered by anxiety or repetition, sprout as unwanted experiences. What we perceive as bad luck or inevitable destiny is often the harvest of an inner garden we have cultivated without due attention, given over to unconscious sowing. The key is not to eradicate these seeds, for they are part of the dialectic of experience, but to recognize their nature and, wisely, choose which ones to cultivate. What harvests are we preparing for tomorrow? And how can we, with conscious will, transform the field of our existence so that instead of unexpected weeds, the gardens of our highest dreams flourish? The answer lies in an even deeper art, the art of transmutation. Inner transmutation faces a silent war, the siege of your imagination. That creative sanctuary, where reality takes shape, is coveted territory. External narratives and symbols usurp your brush, distorting your perception of the self. Hermetic texts warn against alien thought forms that seek to colonize the mind, dictating the limits of the possible. How do these architects of illusion operate? Mass media and social media are the new oracles. They bombard the mind with prefabricated narratives, not to inform, but to implant. They create artificial desires, non-existent fears, constructing a consensual reality. The dark Greeks already glimpsed the manipulation of archetypes to shape the collective psyche. It is a gilded prison for the spirit. This incessant external seeding subtly defines yourself. You are whispered who you should be, what you desire, what values you should embrace. Sumerian tablets reveal how imposed deities dictated identities. Now, corporations and vested interests construct artificial archetypes. Without an unwavering awareness of your true self, this external narrative becomes your only truth, sealing your alchemical potential. A hijacked imagination is, in essence, a chained spirit. You cannot manifest what you do not freely conceive. When the source of your dreams is colonized by alien visions, the ability to forge an authentic destiny atrophies. The Stoic philosophers already warned about external impressions that distort judgment. Without sovereignty over your creative fantasy, you become mere echoes of others' desires. How, then, do we reclaim the throne of imagination? How do we dismantle this modern Maya and unleash the creator within? It is not mere rebellion, but an act of deep introspection and discernment between the inner voice and the outer clamor. The path of transmutation demands constant vigilance, a redefinition of the foundations of our perception. But before rebuilding, we must learn to see. That vision requires a forgotten tool. That forgotten tool is the soul's intimate perception, capable of revealing the apparent. Remember the Hermetic maxim, all is mind. The universe is mental. Your reality before materializing resides as a thought, a vibration, a belief in consciousness. A childhood conviction, an unconscious programming doesn't fade. It only submerges, acting as an invisible current that shapes your existence, building the temple of your experience without your conscious awareness. Imagine your deepest consciousness as fertile soil. Thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are planted seeds. Even if they are forgotten, once rooted, they germinate and grow. The Gnostic schools spoke of internal eons, mental projections that take on a life of their own, forging patterns. Your external reality is the three-dimensional reflection of these constructs, the inevitable harvest of what was sown in the secret garden of being, acting with autonomy that astonishes the untrained eye. Forgetting is not annulment, but concealment. The most powerful beliefs become invisible, intertwined with your identity as absolute truths. They are the foundations of your life. The Egyptian text Akhenaton suggested worship of the luminous essence of the heart, which projects its image into the world. These beliefs, inherited or cultural, become entrenched in the subconscious, operating as master programs that dictate your limitations. The revelation of this truth is inner alchemy, understanding that your consciousness, even in forgetfulness, forges your destiny, grants you unsuspected power. Transmutation is not denying these invisible realities, but rather discerning and reorienting them. It is descending into the self, illuminating dark corners of forgotten beliefs, subjecting them to the flame of conscious intention. This act unearths the leads of limitations, and through the fire of self-knowledge, transforms them into the gold of a new reality. But how can you achieve this immersion? This confrontation with the hidden architect of your world? How can you rewrite what has been forgotten? The answer lies not in external searching, but in calibrating your attention, in developing keen perception to read the subtle languages of the soul. This requires discipline, a master key to open doors and unravel encrypted codes. To navigate it, you must master an ancient, jealously guarded art. It is the art of spiritual discrimination. Seeing beyond the veil, revealing the truth. Judas, far from condemnation, emerges as an arcane catalyst. The Gospel of Judas, a Gnostic text from the Codex Chakos, reveals him not as a traitor, but as the chosen disciple to unleash the divine spark. His betrayal is supreme obedience, a rite that compels revelation. This betrayal does not arise from malice, but from necessity. It is the breaking of the identification of spirit with form. Judas dissolves illusion. His kiss forces confrontation. It is the alchemical nigredo, decomposition, so that the authentic may emerge. The cross, by its action, is a crucible where consciousness is purified from illusory bonds. The inner divinity, the true self, cannot manifest itself while the being clings to lies. Judas personifies the force that compels us to betray illusions, false identities, fears, dogmas. He is the archetype of a necessary crisis, the push that expels us from spiritual complacency to recognize the genuine gold of our essence. This betrayal of illusion is a revelation of sovereignty. It forces you to look within, questioning every pillar of your reality. What truths have you accepted without examination? Judas, the catalyst, shows that liberation involves demolishing mental structures. It is enlightenment through the burning of veils, stripping away the spirit of disguises. A painful process, indispensable for the light of the heart to shine. Thus, Judas rises not as a traitor, but as a liberator of the latent truth, the mirror that compels us to betray the inner illusion so that our divinity may re-emerge. This awakening is only the threshold. Once the veil is torn, the true self emerges. The journey is not over. Echoes persist, scars of the old identity. What is hidden in these shadows that resist? The confrontation with the truth dissolves shadows, brothers, and brings you closer to the I am. It is not a phrase, but the ineffable name of God, pure presence revealed to Moses. I am who I am, divine spark, vibratory foundation of existence. Ancestral sages watch over this power, the master key to personal manifestation. First co-creative breath, this I am is not passive. It is a canvas for your will. By adding quality, I am strong, I am free, you activate profound alchemy. Divine consciousness aligns with the word. Hermetic texts reveal, by affirming it with conviction, you invoke that quality from the archetype. The word becomes flesh in your being, an ancient practice, the foundation of esoteric disciplines. From Egyptian decrees to Vedic mantras, the power of sound and intention was understood. Book of the Dead urged the soul to affirm I am Ra to transcend. Activate being to shape doing. Each I am quality is a mini ritual, a seed in your consciousness. Repetition is not enough. Alchemy resides in unwavering conviction, the faith that what is affirmed already exists. Self-investigation of limiting beliefs is the plow. Resistances are dross that the I am flame must consume. This alchemical rubedo unifies spirit and matter by divine will. Thus, I am is a profound recalibration. Mastery over destiny, recognition of divinity at work. But what happens after the seed germinates? How do we sustain manifestation in a challenging world? The stability of this reality demands strength beyond self-affirmation. It demands an understanding of the subtle resonance between your inner being and the vast canvas of existence. See external reality not as an immutable prison, but as a multifaceted crystal, a sacred mirror that reflects back the exact reflection of your own creations, conscious and unconscious. What you harbor in the sanctuary of your imagination, in the recesses of longing and fear, is projected unveiled onto the stage of the world. It is a cosmic dance, an alchemy of the soul, where your spirit is the forger and the universe, the metal being molded. Nothing exists outside that has not first been a seed within. This principle is not new. It resonates in the echoes of the ancient mysteries. The Hermetic masters on their emerald tablets whispered, as above, so below, as within, so without. They were not referring only to celestial planes, but to the inescapable correspondence between your mental landscape and the one you perceive. The Book of Jan, a forbidden text, alludes to the great illusion, Maya, as a collective and individual construction. Your imagination is not a mere pastime. It is a primal creative force, an invisible engine that weaves the fabric of your destiny, manifesting every thought and deepest emotion in the material of your reality. Observe history itself. Entire civilizations have collapsed or flourished following the vibrations of their consciousness. The parable of Plato's cave is not only an allegory of perception, but also a testimony to how shadows of our internal projections are confused with the truth. Andean shamans, when healing, do not only treat the body, but realign the thread of destiny, modifying the external reflection by healing the internal one. They understand that every illness or deficiency is a dissonance in that mirror, a distortion of the being, demanding self-observation and profound correction. This revelation imposes a cosmic responsibility on us. We are the silent architects of our personal universe. If your outer world shows chaos, investigate the storm raging within. If you desire peace, you must be peace. Internal alchemy is not limited to transforming base metals into gold. It is the transmutation of mental limitations into unlimited vision. It is the challenge of the deep-rooted belief that you are victims of external circumstances. No, you are the mirrors, and by changing what you reflect from within, the entire world is forced to recalibrate to your new frequency. It is a dance between the observer and the observed. But how can we discern the true intentions of this inner creator? How can we differentiate the divine spark from the mere whim of the ego? This mirror, though faithful, is sometimes clouded by mists from the subconscious, by ancestral programming and unhealed wounds that cast unexpected shadows. If reality is the echo of our imagination, then mastering that imagination, the purity of that intention, becomes key to revealing a path beyond the visible. The big question is not whether we are creators, but what we create, and more crucially, why. This is the threshold that invites us to a profound exploration of the veils of perception and the very nature of what we call truth. From why we created, a bold revelation emerges. The forgetting of our divine essence was not a mistake, but a deliberate descent. Imagine the source in its plenitude, yearning for limitation, to know itself in the denial of its light. Ancient codices, such as fragments of the Book of Xian, whisper of a descent of the monads, not a fall but an expedition. Here darkness is the canvas for a new dawn. Why such divine amnesia? The paradox of absolute knowledge. That which is all cannot know, that which is not all without experiencing it. Light understands its brilliance only in contrast to shadow. It was alchemy of the spirit. Supreme love, the Creator stripped himself of omniscience to feel the wonder of discovery. Our spark, submerged in the crucible, awaits to be polished by the friction of the self. This transforms the fall. We are not sinners, but brave explorers who chose separation to orchestrate reunion. Dark nights and challenges are not punishments, but stages of an initiation rite. The alchemical nigredo, the black phase of dissolution, is essential for transmutation. Each failure is a step forged with wisdom, bringing us closer to remembering our immaculate origin. The search for meaning is not a whim, but an ancestral memory, an echo of an original mandate. Civilizations, from Egyptian Hermeticism to the Vedas, codified this truth. Return is engraved in our essence. The emerald tablets of Thoth speak of cycles of forgetting and awakening, of a sleeping God waiting to be remembered through the veils of illusion he wove. To understand this is to empower oneself, to claim mastery, to dissolve duality. If the descent was so precise, what mechanisms were implanted to ensure the ascent? What codes, what keys, what secret paths await in our psyche to reveal the next stage of this magnificent ritual? The answer awaits in the silence of the stars, revealing the cosmic will. Thus, we understand that we are more than mere travelers. We are the conscious expression of the cosmic will, the mirror in which the Absolute contemplates and discovers itself. Every breath, every experience is a stroke on the canvas of divinity that paints itself through us. If the universe is a reflection of our own essence, what new wonders of our being await to be revealed when we finally transcend the last veil of illusion? If these revelations have ignited a spark in your soul, share this beacon of knowledge. Join our sisterhood of truth seekers, subscribe, and don't miss the next keys to existence that we will unveil together. And to continue your journey along the veiled paths, I invite you to explore our next enigma, the silent language of the soul, decoding the messages of the unconscious.